Question number 4. How did we integrate technologies like software, hardware, and online in our project? So speaking from the director of photography's point of view, I had to switch from using my DSLR to using my iPhone for the filming process. And that is because we did not have enough lenses to capture all the shots that we required. And I felt like I was very limited in my vision while filming. So there were certain scenes that required very low-key lighting and dark lighting, and my DSLR would just not pick up on it. Nonetheless, we did use my DSLR for some of the love shots. Moving on to the lighting that we used a ring light, which was used in some of the love shots and the fight scene where we needed someone to travel with the ring light while I was filming them, because it was a very low-key lit place and their faces would not have been visible properly if we did not have the ring light. Then we also used an RGB stage bar light, which was in red. It was used mainly for the final scene where she pulls out the gun and where she's burning everything, and that was a very intense bright light, so it fit very perfectly for that scene. And then thirdly, we used 3 cars headlights for the post-murder scene, where we put overlay sheets on 2 of them, blue and red, and then 1 white one to just diffuse those 2 because they were very intense. Besides that, we just went with natural lighting for most of the love shots. And the last thing in the hardware section that we used was the PC. It's a ThinkStation PC, and it was Serena's, and we used it mainly for transferring data and just editing. So all of the post-production was done on the ThinkStation PC, and it was very accessible, very beginner friendly, and it was not very complicated to learn on. In fact, I quite enjoyed using it and understanding the softwares on it, and it's huge, so we could see all of our mistakes. That was something very big for me, because sometimes when you edit on smaller screens you cannot see your mistakes, but because it was a bigger screen we could see our mistakes while editing and while reviewing footage. So that was a big thing for me personally as the editor and the DOP. Moving on to the softwares that we used in our film. While editing, we used Premiere Pro, iMovies, and Lightroom. Now you might be wondering why we use Lightroom, but it's just for those 2 pictures in the drawer that were the props for their old pictures. I had to edit them on Lightroom. Then for Premiere, I was very new to the software. I had to learn it almost overnight, so that was a challenge, but I really enjoyed the growth and the learning, and I really enjoyed how I could manipulate all of the shots into a completely different narrative. That was very interesting. And then we used iMovies because we were not as familiar with Premiere Pro, and there were just some things that were a little easier for us to use on iMovies. And then for communicating with our group members and transferring data, we used the Drive very heavily and WhatsApp. So these have been very important to us, and these were the technologies in the software department that we used. And okay, so moving on to online websites and applications that we used that helped us along the way. Starting off with Instagram, we used it to scout for actors, and we had a lot of people actually come in, and we had a couple of screen tests with some people that we found from Instagram. Then we also used it to promote our media stuff, like our preliminaries, our media pages, our final project, so all of that stuff, which was great. We also used it to get people to answer our survey, which was created on a different website, but we sent it to people on Instagram, right? So that was really great. We used the survey to see what people would like and how they would react to the genre that we had chosen to film in. And then lastly, we used YouTube to post our CCRs on, our final project, and our preliminaries on. So yeah,